Awesome to have you guys all here. Thank you so much for coming. I felt buzzy all day today. It's been such a cool day knowing that today is exactly 5 years since the biggest 3 days of my whole life. When I look around tonight, I think most of the people here, you were friends with me before I ever got sick. And then you stood by me through 11 years of very serious illness. And that's a huge credit to everyone that you stuck by me through so long of being so unwell, especially family. Like, only mum's here tonight because the rugby's on. But yes, but huge thanks to mum for basically dedicating 11 years to just looking after me. That's pretty much what mum did every day, was look after me. Because I wasn't really doing much for myself at that stage. But 5 years ago today, I was in London and I was walking to the course and I had this sense of, wow, this is probably the most important day of my life. It felt like the biggest responsibility ever, that I've got to get myself well. And I'd thought all those years hoping maybe there'll be some pill that could come out that might fix me, but that didn't happen. Eventually it was a friend who told me about lightning process. And I remember that night I went round to see my friend Ryan, who's here tonight as well, and I bawled my eyes out to Ryan saying, oh, I've just found out about this thing that will get me well, but I've got to do it myself, and what if I can't do it? And I was so scared about, you know, how could I actually manage to do this thing of getting well that seemed so impossible. But by the time I'd read the book and talked to my friend who'd done it, I went into this course totally knowing I was going to get well too. And so I went to that first day and I concentrated harder than I've ever concentrated in my life. And I got back from the course at 5:30 at night. Now, for 11 years, I'd had an afternoon sleep from 3 till 6 every single day. So from day one, no sleep, got back at 5:30 and the whole family went out for dinner in London, and then we went to see Les Mis. So the change was happening right from the start. And day 2, day 3, you know, more and more change. A week later, we were off to Europe, and that's where the slideshow starts. I've got some slides to show you of my 5 years since getting well. Just before I do that, I've got a list of what I wrote on my application form. And when you apply for Lightning Process, you have to write a list of 8 things you're going to do when you get well. And here's my list. I'm going to travel in Europe for 3 months. I'm going to see the Spanish horses in Vienna. I'm going to go to Rome, the tomato festival in Spain, you know, where you throw tomatoes around. I'm going to ski in Europe. I'm going to get a flat in the UK and live independently. I'm going to get a full-time job in the UK, and I'm going to have a relationship. This is 1 week or 10 days after the course. Mum, Dad and their friends and I went to Vienna, and we went to the Rathaus and went to a ball. There were 1,000 people there, and I stayed dancing till 4 o'clock in the morning. At that stage I said to Dad, I'm tired, take me back to the hotel. He took me back, and then he went back to the ball, and Mum and Dad partied till dawn. But I was there till 4 in the morning. And then I went to Switzerland and I went hiking in the mountains, and that was a long way up, and we had walked up those steps. I also hiked in the Atlas Mountains, and it was 39 degrees, and I did not have a donkey, so I was walking up that path. The donkeys did carry our packs though, so I only had a day pack. I went to all the normal countries in Western Europe, so Spain, Portugal, and I went to Morocco, as you saw. I went to 11 countries in 13 weeks. So I did my 3-month tour, arrived back in the UK, and I went to Cambridge and fell in love with Cambridge. So that's where I stayed, and I ended up obsessed with castles, and I went to over 100 castles. And I'm really looking forward to October when I go back and see some more, because you can never see enough castles. That's my first flat in the UK. And I was there when it started snowing, so I built my first snowman in the back garden. Then I got my job, and it was a very formal job. I know. I loved my job. In 2 years in that role, I worked with 300 families and 80% of those children were back in school. Then it was my 30th birthday party, and I'd always thought when I was sick, oh my gosh, what if I'm still sick when I'm 30? You know, I got sick at 18. I can't bear to still be sick when I'm 30. And so it was really a huge celebration for me to turn 30 and know I was healthy. So I had 4 parties to turn 30. So this is the first one in New Zealand. I had an exotic party. Then on the day of my birthday in the UK, my aunt and my cousin took me to Kensington Palace for high tea. And then I had a party in London with all my London friends. And then I had a party in Cambridge with all my Cambridge friends. So I managed 4 celebrations of being 30 and healthy. So that was good. There's the skiing in Europe. That was amazing. That was the best feeling, to have ski suit on and skis and think, yes, I'm so healthy, I can do something energetic like skiing. There's the Tomato Festival. That was a big mess, but man, it was fun. I'm the one in the blue goggles right there. That was crazy. I went to India and I went to Oman. I did all sorts of things I'd never have dreamed of, including training to be a lightning process practitioner. So that was amazing to get to now be able to help people the same way that I was helped. And then I ended up in newspapers in the UK, which was... Yep, dyed my hair red. Yep. And yeah, I was in a newspaper, and then I was invited onto the BBC radio in the UK, and they invited me back 3 times because they found it really, really exciting to be able to inspire people about illness recovery. While my time in the UK was fantastic, I knew I needed to come home. Being Auntie Mel is something that I really love, and connecting with friends back here again has been fantastic, including costume parties. This is the slightly censored version of the photos of costume parties. And Ryan and I bought a boat, so that's been really exciting as well. And I've got back into tramping, which of course I couldn't do while sick, including White Island, and kayaking this summer in Abel, Tasman. I've had 3 relationships in the 5 years, so that's been good. They've been progressively improving. This one's pretty good. And I bought a house, which is all going well. And the other big area, of course, has been getting Empower Therapies started up. And it was exactly 2 years ago that I ran my first lightning process in New Zealand. And Mary was in that group. And so while it's my 5-year celebration, it's Mary's 2-year celebration today as well. It was my 335th client this week has completed the course. And almost all of them have got well. So in this time, I've been on the breakfast show twice, which has been really exciting to get to spread the word so much. I've had clients join me for Round the Bays 2 years in a row, which has been really good fun. And Ella has probably been my most famous client. This is the first time she'd stood up in about 3 years, I think, and she hadn't walked for 5 years. The day 1, she moved her hands. Day 2, that was her first standing up. Day 3, she walked, and this is Ella 3 weeks later. She's now in full-time school and absolutely fine, and has inspired so many people. Live the life you love is a big message in Lightning Process. And one of my clients has actually tattooed that on her foot because she said Lightning Process is the most important thing in my life. So that was pretty special too. So I can honestly say that I have got my life back, better than I could ever have imagined, way more than the original 8 goals. So I'd like to propose a toast today, first of all to my 5-year anniversary and Mary's 2-year anniversary. Yeah. Yes. A toast to all of you guys for being such an awesome support network to me. It's having friends and family see you through times like that is absolutely essential. I know that in the worst of that illness, I would much rather have been dead. But when you've got friends and family who love you, that's never an option. So it's everyone who kept me going until I could find the answer to get well. So thanks to all of you guys. And my final toast is to all those people out there who may end up watching this video on my website at some stage, who are still ill, who are watching this hoping and wondering if they can get well too. So a toast to all those people who can get well, who will find their own answer. So toast to them, to finding that solution.
Well, I haven't prepared anything to say, but it's always pretty easy to talk about what it was like to be the mum of someone who had head injury and then chronic fatigue, and it was just terrible. It was like a permanent heavy cloud on me, and sometimes I used to despair and think, I don't think I'll ever feel happy again if Mel doesn't get better. But I always felt, I'm sure there's something, she will get well. I always believed that somewhere along the line we'd find something that would get her well. I thought, this girl has got so much talent, so much going for her. It was so awful to see her cut short in her studies and her branching out into her adult life, and to just see all that stop. And she was so brave, because she would put on such a good face with all of you, go to a party and then come home and she'd be a mess for 3 or 4 days. And some of you knew that, some of you didn't, but she was always so positive and so brave about it all, and she had such a lot to give the world. I thought, this girl has to find something. And we tried so many things, and sometimes they worked a bit, and then she went backwards again. And then we heard about this lightning process, and she was even probably more positive than me. I thought, well, we know someone who's done it and it's worked, so you have to do it, and this is probably it. And when I saw her at the end of that first day, I thought, God, this is amazing. She doesn't need to come home for a sleep. And after 3 days, it was quite obvious she was well. But as a mother, I still had that fear. Is she well now? And is it going to last? That was my worry. But I felt happier about leaving her in the UK, thinking, well, she is well now. And it took some months for me to take on board that it actually was lasting. I think that was the difficult thing for a mother who's watched a child for 11 years to actually believe that it's lasting. But as you can see, it was. And I mean, we're just so proud of you, Mel, with what you've done with your life. And now you're helping other people, and it's just amazing. So you've just done wonderfully well. We're very, very proud of you.
Rebirthday. So we could sing Happy Rebirthday.
Happy rebirthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hooray.